वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिवाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमदे भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर बीबीटी फाउंडर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिवाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायपुर नवदीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की संवेद कौर भक्त वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु गौरंगा ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथ हम सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay, so we are going ahead with chapter 78. So yesterday we discussed, what we discussed yesterday? Yes. Lord Krishna's killing of Shalva along with his aerial spaceship, Saubha. Okay, so we're going ahead now. 78. The killing of Dantavakra, Vidurata, and Romaharsha. So when Shalva was killed, so his friends became agitated now. So therefore, they are attacking. Mhm. Okay. 10th canto, 78th chapter, verses 1 and 2. Shri Shuka Uvacha Shishupalasya Shalvasya Paundrakasyapi Durmati Paraloka Gatanam Cha Kurvan Paroksha Sauridam Eka Padati Sankruddho Gada Pani Prakampayan Padbhyam Imam Maharaja Mahasatvo Vyadirshata. Shukdev Goswami said, acting out of friendship for Shishupal, Shalva and Poundrak, who had all passed on to the next world, the wicked Dantavakra appeared on the battlefield in a great rage, O king. All alone on foot and wielding a club in his hand, the mighty warrior shook the earth with his footsteps. Can you please close the door? So here it is mentioned Saurudam. Saurudam. So this is also friendship. Good friends, right? Good friendship. So this is also called friendship. But what is the use of this friendship? Such friendship is only for destruction. So therefore, one must have the right type of friends. We already discussed something about association. So one must be careful about whom one associates with. Otherwise, one becomes what one associates. So this is also called Saurdam, friendship. So Dantavakra came to attack Krishna. Okay, now you can begin to read.
Seeing Dantavakra approach, Lord Krishna quickly picked up his glove, jumped down from his chariot, and stopped his advancing opponent just as the shore holds back the ocean.
Okay, short purport you can read.
Sri Prabhupada writes, when Krishna appeared before Dantavakra, his heroic march was immediately stopped, just as the great furious waves of the ocean are stopped by the beach.
Next.
Raising his club, the reckless king of Karusha, said to Lord Mukunda, what luck to have you come before me today. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that after having waited for 3 lifetimes, Dantavakra, formerly a gatekeeper in Vaikunta, could now return to the spiritual world. Therefore, the transcendental meaning of this statement is how fortunate I am that today I can return to my constitutional position in the spiritual world. In the next verse, Dandavakra will refer to Krishna as Matulya, a material cousin, maternal cousin. Dandavakra's mother, Shrutashrava, was the sister of Krishna's father, Vasudeva.
So here he is saying, Dishtya, Dishtya. He's saying, how fortunate, how fortunate. So whenever the asuras, they criticize the Lord or his devotees, then the acharyas always give another meaning. Of course, here in the purport, it's already mentioned, but just to read Vishnu Chakra's commentary on the verse. Dantavakra born in Karusha, so therefore it said Karusho, raised his club. The hidden meaning of the verse is as follows. He, his arrogance gone, Durmadha, Durmadha. So they're giving another meaning of Durmadha. Of course, here in the direct meaning is intoxicated by foolish pride, but another meaning is his arrogance gone. Spoke to Mukunda, giver of liberation, who would give him liberation in his third birth. Now, in this third birth, due to the curse of a Brahmana, I am seeing my master who gives liberation. This is very, very auspicious. Dishtya is repeated twice in jubilation. So, similar to what is mentioned here. Okay, fifth. Tvam matuleyo na Krishna mitra dhrunmam jigamsasi atastvam gadaya manda hanishye vajra kalpaya.
You are our maternal cousin, Krishna, but you committed violence against my friends, and now you want to kill me also? Therefore, fool, I will kill you with my thunderbolt club. Purport. The Acharyas have given the following alternate grammatical division of the third line of this verse. Atastvam gadaya manda. Gadaya manda.
Amanda.
Gadaya amada. In which case Dantavakra says, my dear Lord Krishna, you are amanda, not foolish, and therefore with your powerful club you will now send me back home, back to Godhead. This is the inner meaning of this verse.
So that Gadaya Manda, so that can join with Manda becomes Amanda. Okay, so Vishnu Chakra's commentary on the verses, Dantavakra's mother, Shrutashrava, was a sister of Vasudeva. Thus, he is Krishna's cousin on his mother's side. Therefore, he is addressed as Matuleya. Though you are my Lord, you have now appeared as my cousin. It is proper that you decide to kill me, who is envious of his own cousin. O intelligent one, Amanda, striking me with your club, Kaumoduki, which is like a thunderbolt, I will attain you. Hanishye Vajra Kalpaya. So Hanishye, the direct meaning is I will kill, but the another meaning he gives is I will attain you. Describing your club in this way is to attract the common people. Actually, however, killing me, who in comparison am very insignificant, the thunderbolt club will reveal your personal strength. Okay, so another meaning is with his thunderbolt club, Vajra Kalpaya, he will liberate Dantavakra. And therefore, he's saying, you're very intelligent, you're going to liberate me finally. Sixth, Taryananyam upaimyagya mitranam mitravatsalah bandhurupam arimhatva vyadhim deha charam yatha.
Then, O unintelligent one, I, who am obliged to my friends, will have repaid my debt to them by killing you. My enemy, disguised as a relative, who are like a disease within my body. According to the Acharyas, the word Ajna indicates that in comparison to Lord Krishna, no one is more intelligent. Further, the word Bandhu Rupam indicates that Lord Krishna is actually everyone's true friend. The Vadim indicates that Lord Krishna is the super soul, the object of meditation within the heart, who takes away our mental distress. Furthermore, the Acharyas translate the word Hatva as Jnatva. In other words, by knowing Krishna properly, one can actually liberate all of one's friends.
Interesting. So, of course, the direct meaning is he's saying that, so if I kill you, then I'll repay my debt to all my friends. Anrunyam upaimi. And he's calling him Agya, unintelligent one. So he's saying, although you are Bandhu, you're a family member, but actually you are Arim. Bandhu Rupam Arim. Your enemy in the disguise of a family member. But you're simply like Vyadi. Vyadi Deha Charam Yatha. You're like a disease. So therefore, disease has to be removed. So therefore, I'm going to remove this disease. So of course, the Acharyas are giving the alternate meaning that Bandhu Rupam indicates that Lord Krishna is actually everyone's true friend. And Vyadim indicates that Lord Krishna is super soul, object of meditation of the heart, who takes away our mental distress. So Vishnu Chakravarti says, that person who attains you by thinking of you delivers his friends. Same thing is mentioned here also. By knowing Krishna properly, one can actually liberate all of one's friends. So that's how Krishna is the actual friend, because by meditating on Krishna, by worshipping Krishna, one can liberate all of one's friends. Just like where the Lord talks about liberating family members. Yes, Prahlad Maharaj is told by Lord Narasimhadev, not only your father, but 21 generations will be liberated. So that is the best service one can render to family members and friends, by becoming a good devotee. So many people can get liberated. O person for whom nothing remains unknown, Agnya, being affectionate to my friends, I will free myself of debt to them by delivering them also, by knowing you, who seem to be an enemy in the common eye, but are actually a friend, who are the supreme object of meditation. Vyadhim, another meaning is meditation. And the super soul situated in the body, Deha Charam. Vyadhim can also mean one who rids one of all suffering and sickness. So the Supreme Lord is the real friend. By worshipping him, one can liberate so many other friends also. And the Supreme Lord, he knows everything, he knows everyone. Which is the verse in Bhagavad Gita which says Krishna knows everything. सूर्यदम वो फ्रेंड के लिए ही नोज एवरीथिंग पास्ट प्रेजेंट फ्यूचर. हाँ, क्या है वो? सेवन चैप्टर 26th वर्स. वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि च अर्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि माम तु वेद न कश्चन. So Bhagavad Gita must be constantly revised, not kept as it is. So here Krishna is saying, I know everything, past, present, future, but me no one knows. So Krishna knows everything. What can we hide from Krishna? We cannot hide anything from Krishna. Theoretically we know it, but that realization does not come so easily. So Bhakti Shastri students who know about the super soul in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling the functions of the super soul in 13th chapter. What is that verse? Okay, that's one. Matasmritir Jnana Apanam Chak Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. So he's Upadrashta. He is witnessing everything. What can one hide from him? He knows our every thought, every action, everything he knows. But in the very same Bhakti Shastri exam, sometimes students copy. So they're writing about the super soul, that only they're copying. Yes. Mm. Yes, without his sanction, nobody can do anything. That is true. Mm. So therefore, theory is one thing and realization is another thing. And we'll come to that discussion after some time. Mm. माइक लो वो ऑनलाइन सुनाई दें यहाँ एक है
Yesterday, Maharaj was talking about, I don't know whether there's a reference for this, that somebody is a neophyte devotee, then 4 generations are delivered. Somebody is a Uttam Adhikari, then 21 generations are delivered. Something like that. He was speaking yesterday in class. That way. And regarding this Dantavakra, we know this Shishupal and Dantavakra. So about Jagai Madai also, is there any reference for it?
Jagai Madai, somebody told me, I've yet to personally see it. I didn't actually check it, but somebody told me the reference is there in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that Jay and Vijay continue as Jagai and Madai. Maybe somebody can search in Chaitanya Bhagavat. But that's what some devotees told me. I've yet to verify that. Okay. So therefore, Dantavakra is telling Krishna, you are my actual friend, because today you're going to liberate me also, you're going to liberate all my friends also. So that is real friendship. One who can help us get liberation, attain Krishna Prem, that is real friends. Okay. So in this way, Dantavakra is chastising Krishna. And then what happens? Please go ahead. 7th verse.
Thus trying to harass Lord Krishna with harsh words, as one might prick an elephant with sharp cords, Dantavakra struck the Lord on the head with his club and roared like a lion.
Continue.
Although hit by Dantavakra's club, Lord Krishna, the deliverer of the Yadus, did not budge from his place on the battlefield. Rather, his massive Kaumodaki club, the Lord stuck Dantavakra in the middle of his chest.
Okay.
His heart shattered by the club's blow, Dantavakra vomited blood and fell lifeless to the ground, his hair disheveled and his arms and legs sprawling. A most subtle and wondrous spark of light then rose from the demon's body and entered Lord Krishna, while everyone looked on. O king, just as when Shishupal was killed.
Yes, so here also the soul came and entered Krishna's body. Dantavakra finished, dead. Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. हाँ बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो गया ना. In comparison to Shalva there was big fight, but Dantavakra one blow finished. He came out. What he represents? I don't know. Shishupal represents envy, Dantavakra represents anger. Huh? Maybe, I don't know, I have to check. Okay, go ahead.
But then Dantavakra brother Vidurtha, immersed in sorrow over his brother's death, came forward breathing heavily, sword and shield in his hand. In hand, he wanted to kill the Lord. O best of king, as Vidurtha fell upon him, Lord Krishna used his razor-edged Sudarshan dish to remove his head, complete with his helmet and earrings.
Right, this killing is very fast, super fast. Just Sudarshan Chakra, 1 second finished. So sometimes the Lord, he prolongs the fight just to give some entertainment. Sometimes finished, 1 second. Okay, next.
Having thus destroyed Salva and his Sobha airship along with Dantavakra and his younger brother, all of whom were invincible to before any other opponent. The Lord was praised by demigod, human being, and great sages, by Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Mahoragas, and also by Apsaras, Pitas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Charanas. As they sung his glories and showered him with flowers, the Supreme Lord entered his festively decorated capital city in the company of the most eminent Vishnus.
Yes, so he was praised by all these people, and then the Lord entered Dwaraka. 16. Evam Yogeshwara Krishno Bhagavan Jagatishwaraha Iyate Pashu Drishtinam Nirjito Jayatiti Saha. Pardon?
वो लंबा
Thus, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, the Master of all mystic power and Lord of the universe, is ever victorious. Only those of beastly vision think he sometimes suffers defeat.
Right. So this is like yesterday's discussion also. How the Lord can never be defeated. So only those who are Pashu Drishtinam, they think that the Lord can be defeated, Nirjita. Otherwise, the Lord is always victorious because he is Yogeshwara. He is the master of all mystic powers. He is Bhagavan. He is Jagatishwaraha. So therefore, he is always Jayati. He can never be defeated. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur gives elaborate commentary on this verse of the Bhagavatam. And here in the BBT's book also, they put the whole commentary, which essentially is describing what happens after that, after the killing of Dantavakra. So there's a description of how Krishna goes to Vrindavan. He goes to Vrindavan, meets all the Brajvasis, he spends time with them, he performs all his pastimes as before for 2 months, and then he sends them back to Vaikuntha. So that is the entire description which is given. So if you read the whole thing, it's going to take quite some time. And well, it is just facts and figures, basically. Right? So it's not something which can be discussed and some speculation and all that. No, it's just facts. Okay, this happened. What was his age? Krishna's age. Okay, possible. So you read this. If there are any questions, we can discuss it later. Okay. So you can read it maybe after the class if you have not yet read. If you're not yet read, you can read it after the class, and if there are any questions, we'll take tomorrow. All right? All right? Definitely we'll pray. And that's what I just told. The summary is very simple, that Krishna went to Vrindavan, and he had beautiful pastimes with all the Brajvasis for 2 months. And at the end of that, he sent them. So that's what, if you read it yourself, and then if you have some questions, then we will discuss, then you will develop more greed. So tomorrow, if you come up with some questions, then we'll be forced to read. Till then, we are going ahead now. So now Krishna's pastimes have almost ended. Krishna's killing business is finished. So in the previous commentary, it is also mentioned that after this killing of Dantavakra, Krishna gives up his weapons. Now no more killing. Finished. All killing business finished. And Balram also almost finished. Only 2 are remaining now. Romarshan and Balwal. So for that also, of course, he doesn't use weapons. So in one sense, both of them gave up their weapons. No more fighting with weapons. So let's see now. Now Balram is performing some leela now. Text 17. Shrutva yuddho udyamam rama kurunam saha pandavai tirthabhisheka vyajena madhyastha prayau kila.
Lord Balram then heard that the Kurus were preparing for the war with the Pandavas. Being neutral, he departed on the pretext of going to bathe in the holy places.
Purport.
Purport. Both Duryodhana and Yudhishthir were due to Lord Balram, and so to avoid an awkward situation, he departed. Furthermore, after killing the demon Viduratha, Lord Krishna put aside his weapons, but Lord Balram still had to kill Romharshan and Balwal to finish relieving the earth of her burden of the demons.
So he wanted to remain madhyastha, neutral. So if you want to remain neutral, don't take sides. Go on Tirtha Yatra, best thing. Okay, go ahead, 18.
Prabhuji, then how will conflicts be resolved?
What's that?
How will conflicts be resolved if we don't take sides?
This is one of the way of resolving conflicts. Don't take sides, go on Tirtha Yatra. One of the best ways to resolve conflicts. Of course, time, place, circumstances, we have to see what is our role. What is our, if we are in some managerial position, responsible position, then we have to deal with it. But here Balram was not in such a position. So therefore he could go on Tirtha Yatra.
So we have gone directly to the now almost at the beginning of the war. So this 13 years, it's not there mentioned. Right away, we really came to the second, right?
Correct. Okay, so as in the commentary to the 16th verse, at the end, we'll just see the last paragraph, just to answer your question. So you see the commentary to the 16th verse, last paragraph. In Sri Vaishnav Toshni, Sanatan Goswami's commentary on the 10th canto, we find the following sequential list of pastimes. First was the journey on the occasion of the solar eclipse, that is to Kurukshetra. Then the Rajasuya assembly. Then the gambling match and attempted disrobing of Draupadi. Then the Pandavas exiled to the forest, so that those 13 years have passed. Then the killing of Shalva and Dantavakra.
According to the Padishah, this happened right after that.
This is Sanatan Goswami.
And then after that happens, Krishna sends them. Then happened the dice game.
Correct. Any case, they all happened. Then Krishna's visit to Vrindavan, and finally the winding up of Vrindavan pastimes. This is according to Sanatan. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead with Balram. Where are we? 18. Please read.
Hare Krishna. After bathing at Prabhas and honoring the demigods, the sages, forefathers, and prominent human beings, he went in the company of Brahmanas to the portion of Saraswati that flows westward into the sea.
Aage.
Lord Balram visited Pitrudak, the Bindus Saras lake, Tritak Kup, Sudarshana, Vishal, Brahmatirtha, Chakratirtha, and the eastward flowing Saraswati. He also went to all the holy places along the Yamuna and the Ganges, O Bharata, and then he came to the Naimesh forest, where great sages were performing an elaborate sacrifice. Recognizing the Lord upon his arrival, the sages who had been engaged in their sacrificial rituals for a long time greeted him properly by standing up, bowing down and worshipping him.
Right. So all the sages, they greeted him by either of these ways. Either standing up, pranamya, utthaya, and archaya. So either bowing down, standing up, or worshipping. So, or either or all of them. So that is how they greeted Balaram. Go ahead.
After being thus worshipped along with his entourage, the Lord was accepted a seat of honor. Then he noticed that Romharshan, Vyasdev's disciple, had remained seated.
Yes, he saw that Romarshanam Asinam. He was still seated on his seats. And so, okay, 23.
Lord Balaram became extremely angry upon seeing how this member of Suta caste had failed to stand up, bow down, or join his palms. And also, he was sitting above all the learned Brahmanas.
Purport.
Romharshan had failed to greet Lord Balaram in any of the standard ways for welcoming a superior personality. Also, despite being a lower caste, he sat in a seat above the assembly of exalted Brahmanas.
So why he was lower caste?
Suta.
Suta. What is the problem? Pratiloma marriage. Pratiloma marriage is boy of a higher caste, no, boy of a lower caste, wife of a higher caste. So that means Kshatriya father and Brahmana mother. So, or any other combination like that. So that is Pratiloma marriage. So therefore is Suta caste. So apparently lower caste. But he still remains sitting. And whereas all the other Brahmanas were sitting on a level below him and they all stood up to greet Lord Balaram. So now Lord Balaram is saying, what is he saying? Yasmadasau iman vipran adhyaste pratilomaja dharmapalam statevasman vadham arhati durmati.
Lord Balaram said, because this fool born from an improperly mixed marriage sits above all these Brahmanas and even above me, the protector of religion, he deserves to die.
So here specifically, Balram is saying, I am Dharmapala. I am the protector of the principles of religion. So therefore, Balram is thinking how to protect Dharma, because that is his duty. He is Dharmapala. So he is very angry with Romarshan. He is saying he is Durmati, very foolish, in spite of being Pratilomaja. But still he is sitting above the Brahmanas. This is very bad. 25-26. Rishir Bhagavato Bhutva Shishyo Ditya Bahunicha Setihasa Puranani Dharma Shastrani Sarvashaha Adantasya Vinitasya Vritha Pandita Maninaha Na Gunaya Bhavantisma Natasyeva Chitatmanaha.
Although he is a disciple of the divine sage Vyas and has thoroughly learned many scriptures from him, including the law books of religious duties and the epic histories and Puranas, all this study has not produced good qualities in him. Rather, his study of scriptures is like an actor's studying his part, for he is not self-controlled or humble and vainly presumes himself a scholarly authority, though he has failed to conquer his own mind. One might argue that Romharshan Sut committed an innocent mistake when he failed to recognize Lord Balaram, but such an argument is refuted here by Lord Balaram's strong criticism.
Okay, we'll come to this. We'll just finish this pastime and come to some discussion. 27. Etadarto hi lokesmin avataro maya kritaha vadhya me dharma dvajinas tehi pata kinodhikaha. The
very purpose of my descent into this world is to kill such hypocrites who pretend to be religious. Indeed, they are the most sinful rascals. Lord Balaram was not prepared to overlook Romharshan's offense. The Lord had descended specifically to eliminate those who claim to be great religious leaders but do not even respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
28. Etavaduktva bhagavan nivritto sadvadadapi bhavitvatam kushagrena karastena hanat prabhu.
Sukadeva Goswami continued. Although Lord Balaram had stopped killing the impious, Romharshan's death was inevitable. Thus, having spoken, the Lord killed him by picking up a blade of kusha grass and touching him with its tip.
Purport.
Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Balaram has avoided taking part in the battle of Kurukshetra, and yet, because of his position as an incarnation, the reestablishment of religious principles was his prime duty. Considering these points, he killed Romharsan Sut simply by striking him with a kusa straw, which was nothing but a blade of grass. If someone questions how Lord Balaram could kill Romharsan Sut simply by striking him with a blade of kusha grass, the answer is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the use of the word Prabhu, Master. The Lord's position is always transcendental, and because he is omnipotent, he can act as he likes without being obliged to follow the material laws and principles. Thus, it was possible for him to kill Romharshan Sutta simply by striking him with the blade of kusa grass.
Okay. So now, somebody may ask, see, when somebody is sitting on the Vyasasana, one is not supposed to stand up, correct? If somebody comes, one is not supposed to stand up. He's not obliged to. He can, but he's not obliged to. That's the etiquette. He's not obliged. Then why Balram took this so seriously? Huh? Okay, Lord is coming, but still he's performing a service on the Vyasasana. Amada sir? Right. So some form of respect should have been there. So as it is mentioned 3 ways, at least some folding hands, bowing down, something should have been there. Nothing was there. Of course, it's not necessary that he should run. And when the Lord has come there, where he will run? So, but your point is correct. The main point is, of course, Balram, he detected the mentality of Romarshan, as he is saying here, Adantasya avinitasya. Adantasya is one who is not self-controlled, and avinitasya means not humble. What's that?
Not offering respect when it is due.
Hare Krishna. But not offering respect when it is due is almost as close to ignoring that person, despite
Correct.
seeing him. And it is mentioned that everyone offered respect.
Correct.
Who are you giving pravachan to when your audience is already distracted? So he cannot pretend that he didn't see. A similar thing have already been discussed in 6th canto.
Correct.
Brahaspati also became extremely angry.
Yes, Brahaspati, of course, he understood this person is too proud and he just walked off. He didn't say anything.
But not offering respect when it is due, it was very clear it's a sign of pride.
Correct.
There was nothing else needed to decode.
Yes, that's true. So therefore, Lord Balram is saying, Vritha Pandita Manina. Vritha Pandita Manina. He is vainly posing himself to be a great Pandit, but na gunaya, no good qualities. And therefore, he is saying he is just like Natasya iva, Ajita Atmanaha. Okay. So now he's such a scholarly person, as Balram himself is saying here, Setihasa, Puranani, Dharma Shastrani, Sarvasha, he knows all this. But why the good qualities did not develop? So the question is, the question for everyone's contemplation, okay, please online, how many are there today? 13, good. So question for contemplation is, so why in spite of knowing Shastra, one may not develop good qualities? What could be some of the reasons? Maybe you can think for 2-3 minutes. Individually, you can think, contemplate. If you want, you can discuss with your neighbors. Why, in spite of knowing Shastra, even Indra knows Shastra, right? He's the king of the Devatas, definitely knows Shastra. So why, in spite of knowing Shastra, the good qualities may not develop? What could be some of the reasons? So please think about it. You can note down a few points. All right. Okay, let's begin with online. Maybe you want to note a few points?
Prabhuji,
Okay, we'll just discuss others. Okay.
Prabhuji, the first thing is wrong attitude only. The attitude is only wrong because an advanced devotee who is in Krishna consciousness, he will be like a Goswami. And Rupa Goswami said advancement in Krishna consciousness depends upon the attitude of the follower. So the first thing is a wrong attitude.
Okay, so wrong attitude results in what?
Wrong, when our attitude is only wrong, it results in pride. It results in wrong also perceptions about others, that I am great, others are not great.
Okay, fine. Okay, a wrong attitude could lead to pride. Okay, essentially. Okay, fine. A wrong attitude. Okay, wrong attitude. Okay, fine. Some other, we'll take 2-3 more points online before coming here.
So the poor association,
What's that?
wrong or bad association,
Bad association. What happens because of bad association?
like Dhritarashtra, he was knowing that what is correct, what is wrong, or he was taking advice from Vidura, but he was attached and he had wrong counseling.
Dhritarashtra. Okay, fine. So yes, definitely bad association. Association plays a very vital role. Okay.
Lack of bhakti, because bhakti only produces good qualities. Only just by learning the scriptures, one doesn't develop good quality. Only bhakti to Guru and Krishna, yasyasi bhakti bhagavati kanchana, then the good qualities develop. Otherwise, a person remains on a mental platform, even reading the
So
scriptures.
somebody is studying the scriptures. How can there not be bhakti?
They may lead on a more analytical platform. They may not have that humble devotion towards Supreme Lord. Here, Balram is coming, and he doesn't have a devotion to Balram. So he would have read that Krishna and Balram are the same person, but he did not show any devotion to Balram. So because of the Gyan,
So
Jnana,
what does devotion mean?
Bhakti means respect, love for the Supreme Lord, and which is missing in its case.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's a good point. So lack of bhakti.
Prabhu, lack of practice and restraint, abhyasena vairagyena.
Lack of what type of practice?
Practice of, like say, reading the Bhagavatam daily and practice it. So,
we are talking about somebody who's reading Bhagavatam daily.
One sec, I'm sorry. Putting it into practice. Putting it, what we read, we don't put into practice.
Okay, not putting into practice. Okay, not putting into practice.
Not putting into practice and exercising restraint, that also not.
Okay, exercising restraint, self-control. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll come here. Okay, Madhusapru.
Philosophy has to be practiced. The practical devotion, proper devotion, service, not only devotion. What is doing Bhagavad, he has to do, he has to serve the Bhagavatas. Then only he will understand.
Okay, fine. So, not serving the Bhagavatas. Not serving Bhagavatas. Balbhadra.
After reading the Shastras under proper spiritual master, he is unable to identify the Lord.
Why?
Because still that lack of realization, only knowledge base is there, but no realization.
So that is our question. Why the knowledge has not turned into realization? That is the question.
Interference of vritti.
Hey, रुको.
Of the offenses.
अरे ऐसे बीच में मत बोलो भाई. अभी ऑनलाइन अभी थोड़ा शांति. अभी यहाँ ऑफलाइन चल रहा है. हाँ.
Lack of realization.
Okay, fine. Anyway, you write it. Lack of realization. Okay, fine.
There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Agyascha asadadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. Prabhupada says Agyas means one does not know the scripture. Asadadhana means knows the scripture but does not have faith in the scripture. And samshayatma, he says, is the most fallen one. So then he says that he has a doubt. So he has not clarified from some spiritual master, proper devotee, whatever doubt. So he has not clarified a doubt. So even though he has Shraddha, even he also read the scripture, but doubts are still lingering.
Okay. So lingering doubts. Okay, lingering doubts. Okay, what is weakness of heart and what happens?
Like in Ajamil, he knew what to be done, but he was not able to. Because he was attached to, so that is Hridaya Daurbalyam, that would be said.
Okay, so Hridaya Daurbalyam, material attachments. Okay, fine, that could.
Three ways of learning knowledge are there. Pranipat, Pariprashna, and Seva may not have been done. Pranipat, the mood of humble submission may not be there. Or when the study was done with ulterior motives, then
what's that?
Ulterior motives are also
ulterior
there.
motives. Okay, so no submission and study with ulterior motives. Yes, Chetan.
Or humility should be there with the study.
Correct.
Then the good qualities will develop. So he didn't have.
But that is the question, na? That why the Vidya is not leading to Vinay. So the Vidya should lead to Vinay, correct? So the question is why the Vidya has not led to Vinay.
One thing that I can think is of Vaishnava Aparadha.
Yes, that could be one prominent factor.
Because of which it's just covered over.
Yes, Vaishnava Aparadha.
Is there any previous incident? Just want to know.
We'll discuss. We're just noting down points. We'll try to answer all your questions.
Here in the verse it is mentioned that
bolo.
He was not sense controlled. It is mentioned in the verse.
Correct. So because of that, he didn't get well.
He was not humble. Like that it is mentioned.
Right.
He has not controlled his mind.
Okay, not controlling the mind. Okay, that could be one. Okay, any other reasons online?
Vritti from past lives keep disturbing.
So knowing Shastra and knowing purport of the Shastra is different. So he didn't knew the goal of Shastra. Purport of Shastra is to know Krishna.
Okay, so he didn't
He
know.
has come here.
Correct.
He might know a lot of things, but purpose.
Okay, he didn't know the purpose goal. Okay, so I think Radha Gunjbari Prabhu is saying, okay, Purva Vrittis, Vasanas.
Prabhuji, also I feel that he's not a good Shravan. उसका श्रवण weak है. श्रवण अच्छा नहीं कर रहा है.
आपको कैसे मालूम?
Maybe this is just I'm saying maybe.
Okay, so don't blame Romarshan for that. It could be a general point.
Yeah. Just somebody is not doing good Shravanam.
Yes. So we discussed what is the meaning of good Shravanam, correct? Right, in the first class we discussed the culture of hearing. So somebody is not doing that good Shravanam.
Like selective hearing, there can be selective reading.
Yes, okay, fine. So not good hearing, with that same point, selective listening, selective reading. What? No, we are not talking only about Romarshan. We are talking in general. We are talking in general of why knowledge may not lead to realization. Huh? Somebody else is saying?
Like regarding and regulations.
Okay.
Negligence and lethargy regarding the rules and regulations.
Rules and not knowing the rules and regulations, not following rules and regulations.
Yes. Negligence and lethargy.
Negligence of rules and regulations.
The bija of Shadritis have not been burnt.
Weeds. Okay, weeds. Lot of weeds.
Bija.
Oh, bija. Okay, sinful desired seeds. Bija. Bija, weeds. So all these could be causes. Okay, fine.
Prabhuji,
Ruko.
Actually, I don't know speculation. He has not studied Bhagavatam. It is not yet spoken. So, if he studies Bhagavatam, it seems that one should become humble. That's what is written in Bhagavatam.
Anyways, we are not, of course. So this point we have already put now.
Bhagavatam, I'm talking not any other scripture.
Okay, not doing
Bhagavatam is different scripture than also.
Okay, fine. So you can put that. No.
He has not.
Anyways, we are not discussing only about Romarchan. We are discussing the point in general. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's a good list of various reasons why one may hear and read a lot of scriptures, but still one may not develop the good qualities. In this connection, we would like to refer to one of Srila Prabhupada's very beautiful purports on this topic. Very precise and very clear. Please open Bhagavad Gita. So you'll have to on this. Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 8th verse. Okay. So, okay, you're sharing. Okay, so somebody can recite the verse, read the translation and the purport.
तृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रिय युक्त इति उच्यते योगी समलोष्ट्राम कांचन. Translation: a person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by the virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same.
Every word and sentence of this purport is extremely important and meaningful. Okay, read.
Book knowledge without realization of supreme truth is useless.
Okay, so that's the beginning. The opening statement itself is highlighting the essence. Book knowledge without a realization of the supreme truth is useless. So somebody may have a lot of book knowledge, but after all that book knowledge, if one has not come to the realization of the absolute truth, it is all useless. Why? The reason is the verse.
This is stated as follows: Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahayam indriye sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurati adaha. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Shri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him.
So the main reason is what? The Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela of the Lord are not material. So because they are not material, they cannot be understood simply by material knowledge or a material perception of knowledge. So one may get a lot of knowledge, but simply that knowledge doesn't help one to understand the Supreme Lord, because the Supreme Lord is transcendental. So one cannot understand that way. Therefore, Prabhupada uses this amazing phrase, which is not directly in the verse, but still he says, only when one becomes spiritually saturated, spiritually saturated. Srila Prabhupada's special insights into the verse. Spiritually saturated by what? Transcendental service to the Lord. So only when one comes to the spiritual platform can the spiritual truths be understood. That is a simple Siddhanta. Simply with a material consciousness and a material outlook, one cannot understand spiritual truths. That is the simple Siddhanta. And that is the same Siddhanta which Lord Brahma also tells. 10th canto, 14th chapter. What is that? Atapith deva padam bhujadvaya prasad leshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyameko pichiram vichanvan. Even if one speculates for a very long time, one cannot understand. One can only understand when one gets prasad lesha, at least a trace of the Lord's mercy, because that is what lifts one's consciousness up to the spiritual platform, and only with that spiritual consciousness can one understand. Therefore, if somebody is just reading the book and getting a lot of information, information does not guarantee realization. The Hindi translation of Gyan and Vigyan is what? Are Hindi, Baba. Pustakiya Gyan and Anubhavi Gyan. This is the translation. Pustakiya Gyan, bookish knowledge. And realized knowledge is called Anubhavi Gyan. It is based on one's experience. Experience leads to realization. Correct? Experience leads to realization. I usually give this simple example, which is easily relatable. Just like if somebody gives a first class detailed lecture on gulab jamun to an audience who has never tasted gulab jamuns. So somebody gives a first class description of all the ingredients, proportions, exactly how is it prepared, full details, 1 hour lecture. At the end of that, what will be the audience's response? So will they experience the gulab jamun by hearing about that? No, there's no experience, there's no anubhav, there's no experience. They have got full theoretical knowledge about gulab jamun they have. They can also give that lecture to others on the gulab jamun, but yet no experience about the gulab jamun. Yes, that is true. But the fact still remains that theoretical knowledge about the gulab jamun is not equal to the experience of the gulab jamun. That is the point. They may develop the desire to taste it, but it is not equivalent to tasting it. That is the point. And so therefore, similarly, unless one goes through the experience, one cannot get realization. Of course, Somebody who is spiritually advanced can learn simply by hearing also. But then for most people, the realized knowledge is different from simply the theoretical knowledge. And especially when it comes to spiritual truths, because it is on a spiritual platform, much above or transcendental to the mundane platform. Okay, now go ahead.
So what is the path, Prabhu? This is also knowledge.
That's exactly what we are reading. The answer to your question is the next paragraph.
This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness.
So see, this such a precise statement again, which Srila Prabhupada keeps repeating many places. Krishna consciousness is a science. Bhagavad Gita is a science. What does science mean?
The logic behind.
Aim, objective, theory, conclusion, apparatus.
Yes. Huh? Huh? No, we are asking a general definition of science.
Knowledge of the workings.
Verifiable.
Yes. There is knowledge which is verifiable at all times. And the result will be also the same at all times. That is science. That is why Srila Prabhupada blasphemed the scientists, because they're saying one thing today and tomorrow another thing. That is not science. That is speculation. Science means there is theory, verify it, and then the result has to be the same. At all times, places, whoever does the experiment, it has to be the same. And Prabhupada's famous example, hydrogen plus oxygen is equal to water. So, similarly, Krishna consciousness is a science. It is not simply theory. Somebody puts it into practice in accordance to all the various parameters that have been mentioned. When one properly practices, the result is guaranteed. That is science. Okay, go ahead.
This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship.
Yes, simply by mundane scholarship. That means there is a material outlook, mundane scholarship. I'm sure everyone knows that pastime of His Holiness Naranath Maharaj and the person who did PhD on Jayadev Goswami's Geet Govind. Everyone knows? Everyone knows? No? No?
No,
Who knows?
no.
Who knows?
No, but
Give to Madan Sundar.
The one who was drinking in a pub. Yeah, that's the one. Who
No, cigarette.
Maybe.
He has done PhD on Jayadev Goswami's literature, but he tells to Maharaj that you really believe in Krishna who actually danced with others' wives?
So this person has done a PhD in Jayadev Goswami's Geet Govind. He says, I know all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Obviously, he has done PhD, yes to know. So he's done all the pastimes of Radha Krishna, and so he's speaking with Maharaj, and then he says, after reading all these pastimes of Radha and Krishna, I really want to know from you, how can you worship such a person as the Supreme Lord? That is his question. After his PhD. What is the use of his PhD? So therefore, Maharaj advised him that you have done PhD, it's nice, but it will be also very important to know the ABCD. And so therefore, humbly suggest that you read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That was Maharaj's suggestion. And anyways, he said, I have some work to do, and he went off. So the point is that, that's the point which Prabhupada is writing here. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. So mundane scholarship means one is simply getting a lot of information. Information is very easy to get these days, correct? Google, everything. Whatever information one wants is easily available. Next.
So where does the faith come from, Prabhu? Where
Hold
does
on, hold on, hold on. Be patient. Everything is being revealed in this one purport.
No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness.
See the precision of Prabhupada's writings. One must be fortunate enough. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev. The association comes only by good fortune. One must be fortunate enough to associate. In today's class also, Maharaj was telling, association with one who has laulyam. So same thing here also. Associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. So if one associates with the person in pure consciousness, so the next question may arise, what does association mean? What does association mean? अरे ऑनलाइन बोल सकते हैं?
To associate with the instructions and follow the instructions of that person.
Okay, that's one of the vital ways to associate. That is to get instructions, follow instructions.
Opening the heart.
To serve, yes. To open one's heart exactly means what? Some heart surgery. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, having faith in the person. If one has faith in the person, then one follow his instructions.
One should be ready to accept the knowledge from the perfect person.
Yes, accept the knowledge, follow the instructions. That is the real meaning of association. Not that, okay, we heard the class today. It was a nice class. Nice class. So, people sit in classes and do 100 other things these days, especially online classes. It's a fact, well-known facts. There's no hiding. So what type of association is that? That is not association. We were discussing yesterday. Eagerness to hear, anxious to hear. So one is sitting in the class, some people sit behind, they have their mobiles and they're doing 10 other things. So one is really not associating. It is simply namesake. Namesake. This show of Krishna consciousness will not work. This simply external show will not work for long. So, if one is really serious about association, maybe you've heard or read or not, but I'll tell it. So, this is about Yamuna Mataji. And when our Kumbh Mela is going on, so this is there in I think so it's there in Giriraj Maharaj's book. But in any case, this pastime is also there in the book on Yamuna Mataji, written by Deenatarin. Okay, so during Kumbh Mela, so there was the ISKCON tent, and then to take bath, they had to walk a long distance till the river. It would take almost about half an hour for them to walk. And then to take the bath in the Sangam, they had to take a boat and all that. Practically 45 minutes to take bath. And so, Yamuna Mataji and Kaushalya Mataji, these two Matajis who had gone for the Kumbh Mela in 1971, I suppose. So, and Srila Prabhupada was giving classes immediately after Mangalarti. This was, Prabhupada was speaking on Ajamil pastime. And it was totally new for devotees. They never heard this before. And so they were all very eager to hear. And so these two Matajis, they would get up very early in the morning at about 2 o'clock or so and take their bath in the cold water and everything and finish all their chanting before Srila Prabhupada would give his class. Why? For two reasons. One reason is, the more one is in purified consciousness, the more one can attentively hear. We discussed that point, correct? The last verse of the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto. The more one is pure in consciousness, the more one can attentively hear, because the lower modes are subdued. And the second point is so that they would not be distracted by any other service or anything of that sort. So therefore, they would finish everything else, and Yamuna Mataji especially, she would sit right in front of Srila Prabhupada to absorb every word that Srila Prabhupada spoke. That is association. And so then, when one associates like that, then we can see the progress, how quickly the progress was made because of that association. So this is very important. Not that no one is doing everything very superficially. ठीक है, class में बैठ गया, कुछ तो सुन लिया. So if that is the attitude, one will not gain much. So that's what Prabhupada is writing here. One must be fortunate enough to associate with the person who is in pure consciousness. Please go ahead.
A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna because he is satisfied with the pure devotional service.
Yes. So now this is the answer to how one gets realized knowledge. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna. That is how one gets realized knowledge. The realized knowledge comes by the grace of Krishna. We can get theoretical knowledge, but realization is a gift of Krishna. By the grace of Krishna, one gets realized knowledge. Why? Why Krishna gives that realization to that devotee? Because he is simply satisfied with pure devotional service. He doesn't want anything else. Because that is the quality of the devotee's devotional service, therefore Krishna gives that realization. Then what is the result of that realized knowledge? Next sentence.
By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect.
Yes, by realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. That is the only way to become perfect. One has to have that realized knowledge. Okay?
By transcendental knowledge, one can By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions.
Yes, this is an important result of theoretical knowledge and realized knowledge. By realized knowledge, by transcendental knowledge or realized knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. Just to extend that same analogy of the gulab jamun. So if somebody has tasted the gulab jamun and is convinced about the taste of gulab jamun, even if he's woken up in the middle of the night, he has no doubt about the taste of gulab jamun, right? And even in the middle of the night, if he's told now gulab jamuns are being served, most probably he'll immediately get up. So why? Because he has full realization about the taste of gulab jamuns. So similarly, one who has realization about Krishna consciousness, no one can delude him. Just like Srila Prabhupada in quite a few of his lectures, he says, my disciples, even if you give them 1 crore rupees, they will not go to watch the mundane movies. Prabhupada is saying. That means how much ever you allure them, they are fixed in their realization. So they cannot be deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. So that is what will happen when one is fixed in that realization. But somebody who doesn't have that realization, simply has theoretical knowledge, then he can be allured, deluded by so many material allurements, confusion, so many things may happen if one does not have that realized knowledge. We'll just complete this.
It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna.
Yes, because the surrender to Krishna gives the higher taste, gives the realization. So then when he gets the higher taste, he can very easily control the senses.
He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones.
For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation. It's quite interesting. The verse is talking about actual pebbles and stone, but Prabhupada is comparing mundane scholarship and mental speculation to be like pebbles for one who has realized knowledge, but for others it is as good as gold. So people, especially in Kali Yuga, mundane scholarship, mental speculation, of course, these days, even that is not very important. Nowadays, it's simply, sense enjoyment. Whoever has more money and whoever can enjoy senses more is considered to be great. But then still we find that, okay, somebody is able to do a lot of word jugglery and speculate and write all types of fancy books and novels, then they are considered to be great. So this is one of the characteristics of Kali Yuga. This comes in the first canto, 15th chapter. One of the characteristics of Kali Yuga is where this mental speculation and word jugglery is glorified. So there, you should hear Prabhupada's lecture on that verse, which is talking about characteristics of Kali Yuga from the 15th chapter. And Srila Prabhupada is mimicking word jugglery. And it is so funny. It's so funny. Prabhupada is mimicking word. He speaks something which has no meaning. So it's very funny. But then Prabhupada says, that is what is glorified in Kali Yuga. Anyone who's able to do a lot of word jugglery and make people laugh, he becomes great. And we can see that happening. So this is the characteristic of Kali Yuga. So, but then but one who has realized knowledge, for him, this is what? This is as good as pebbles, useless. So therefore, the important point is that the only way one can become perfect in Krishna consciousness is by getting realized knowledge, and the realized knowledge comes by grace. And therefore, what is most important in our practical devotional service is how to attract grace. That is what is most important. So one may do so many activities and so many services and so many things one may do, but at the end of the day, if one is not attracting grace, then it will not lead to this realized knowledge. Somebody may say, I will chant 64 rounds every day, I'll study the whole Bhagavatam every day, I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay, you can do all that. But if it is not attracting grace, if it is not in accordance to instructions of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, if it is not pleasing to Guru and the Vaishnavas, then I may do all this. But if the grace is not being attracted, then what is the use? So we all know the story of that one devotee in Mayapur who went to chant 64 rounds against the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And the result was what? Yes, he was at a petrol pump. That was the result, in spite of chanting 64 rounds every day. So therefore, the path of bhakti is not dependent simply on our own endeavors. The endeavor has to attract grace. That is how one will get realized knowledge. So Arjun, if you wanted to ask something, no?
Guruji, I'm asking, like when you say here realized knowledge, and here Prabhupada says, by transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions, but by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. So even if you find in ISKCON also, there are many contradictions above some certain philosophies. So why there is no realized conclusions? Why people are so much confused in even upper head also?
Confused about what?
The right understanding, even like you simple make sense of like Jiva fall also. There, that is also great confusion actually. People, even the scholars also confused.
No, those who know the Shastra are not confused.
They are confusing others.
That means they are confused. Anyway, we're not getting into the topic.
Hare Krishna.
So don't provoke me.
This also. So this is one thing.
See, whatever it is, the point is that as Prabhupada is writing here, what he's writing, you see that so precise. Apparent contradictions. You saw that? Apparent contradictions. So what is apparent contradiction? It looks like contradiction, but actually it's not a contradiction. So why there are apparent contradictions? Just now, some contradiction came up. Sanatan Goswami said something and somebody else said something. Something came up, no? So we'll find like this. So we'll find like this apparent contradictions. And what is the simple, and in fact, once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada that we find sometimes contradictions amongst the acharyas. Why like this? Prabhupada made only one statement. What? There are no contradictions amongst the acharyas. Bas, finished. Finished. There was no further explanation of that. But what we can understand is that why Srila Prabhupada made that statement, because the example is given that the supreme absolute truth is like a prism, or like a, what is that? Vaidurya gem. So you see from different angles, you see different colors. But ultimately it is the same substance. So therefore, different acharyas may see from different angles and may have different perceptions of the same absolute truth, but they're all perceptions or attributes or qualities of the same absolute truth. And therefore, they are justified. They're justified in their different perceptions because they're seeing from different angles. And so therefore, there are no contradictions. But somebody who is not sufficiently mature enough to understand this will see contradictions, even though there are no contradictions. Therefore, it requires some maturity to understand these things. And therefore, it is best not to advise new devotees to read too many books. If new devotees read too many books, they will be confused by these apparent contradictions. Therefore, new devotees should not be advised to read too many books. Better they stick to Prabhupada books. Otherwise, they'll find all these apparent contradictions. Actually, there are no amongst the bona fide acharyas. We're not talking about those who are not bona fide. Even amongst the bona fide acharyas, we may find some differences, but that is bona fide because they are seeing from different perspectives, and we appreciate all perspectives of the bona fide acharyas. And we don't say that one is right and the other is wrong. That is not correct. So therefore, okay, so your question is answered.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Kaji, in your scripture it says that cow should be killed, and in Veda it is said cow should not be killed. So then when this is a totally contradiction, and he says that it is a contradiction. So when somebody says this is not, and somebody says this is, so this is contradiction only.
That is true, but now you're bringing in another subject matter. You're bringing in the subject matter of different religions. And again, that is not a contradiction, because again, it is justified because they are given according to different time, place, and circumstances. So therefore, that is also justified. That is also not wrong.
He says that is wrong.
See, we are not getting into details. Please try to understand the principle. The principle is that they're all apparent contradictions. They're all apparent contradictions. And so therefore, somebody who's fixed on the path of devotional service will not see any contradictions. He'll be able to resolve all contradictions. And even if there is something which is not understandable, he will say that, well, it's up to the acharyas. Well, that's fine. It's fine for them. And it's not that I have to get confused about the abhidheya. The abhidheya always remains the same. So therefore, one who is fixed, he has no problems.
One more thing, this realized knowledge or perfect knowledge, it does not means a person knows everything, but he has faith that it is true, correct? Na?
Yes, it is not possible for one to know everything. Krishna is unlimited. How can one know Krishna totally? It's not possible. But Prabhupada writes, if you want, you open Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, text number 2 purport. Prabhupada writes, even the pure devotees know only something about Krishna. Correct. So therefore, it's not possible to know Krishna completely. In fact, in the second canto of the Bhagavatam, there's a description that even Krishna doesn't know himself completely. There is Prabhupada writes that beautiful statement, constant competition between increment and measurement. Because when Krishna tries to count his qualities, they've increased. So there's a competition between increment and measurement. अरे बंद कर दो उसको. So that is the point. Okay. So we are discussing this point that one may have a lot of theoretical knowledge, but if one is not acting in ways to attract grace, the theoretical knowledge will not turn into realization. This is the sum and substance of a discussion. Any clarifications on this? Yes, bro. Please take the mic.
Translated. They should be studied by all the devotees, otherwise they will eat, sleep, and fall down. And that is in a very special context of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where means the verse says amazing. How and we see many Prabhupada also said, and Prabhupada's disciples like Param Pujya Radhanath Swami Maharaj instructions that one should be scrutinizingly comprehend Srila Prabhupada's purports, and I think Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's instructions. There is serious, regularly study Prabhupada books. So, what is the difference between this theoretical knowledge, which we are left, right, center criticizing right now, and what they are saying here? That scrutinizingly read, comprehend, regularly read. So can you help me to
Yes,
understand?
the simple thing is, if one is scrutinizingly reading, then the result of that will be application. If one is simply reading superficially, then as like an academic study, then there will not be much desire to apply. So if one is actually scrutinizingly studying with the intention to transform oneself, if one has that proper motive, then one will actually try to apply, and then there will be that transformation. That is the meaning of scrutinizingly studying. Otherwise, just read.
Knowledge means there is no desire to apply. Is that you want to say?
There could be all shades.
I'm just trying to understand.
Yes. So there are two extremes, and there could be all shades in between. Correct. So one extreme is like this PhD scholar.
Those extremes don't exist.
Yes.
We are not talking about them. We are not taking cigarette.
But that is one extreme. And another extreme could be that, well, I don't study anything. That is other extreme. There's no need to study. I will just do some services. That is other extreme. So, but then the proper understanding is that I try to study and understand according to my own capacity. And then I sincerely try to apply what I have studied and what I have understood. Then that will lead to realization, just like that South Indian Brahmana. Sriram. Should we take after the break? Okay, fine.
From the verse, I wanted to ask, like here, Romarshan Sutta. So here, Balaram is telling that Pratilomaja is born from this. So, like, it seems that time also caste system was also quite rigid. Like we see Karna, and that many people ask that question why Draupadi rejected. So then when we say that Guna and Karma, so then only his attitude and Guna should have been criticized by Balram. Then why he is also telling that he was not born of she was born of a Pratilomaja marriage. So that was not his fault, if we see.
That is not his fault, but the point that Balram is saying is that in spite of being born of a low family, he is not following the Brahmanas. So the Brahmana stood up. Then at least this person who is born of a low family, then he should have followed the Brahmanas.
Anybody should follow the Brahmanas, not just he.
Yes, anybody should follow the Brahmanas.
Low caste.
Yes, that is correct.
This word Pratilomaja, he has used why?
In spite of being in a low. That is the meaning. In spite of being. So suppose if he were also a Brahmana. Suppose if he were also a Brahmana, then okay, we could say, well, he is a Brahmana, so there is some justification. There is some justification. Or if he is better than the Brahmanas, okay, some justification. But in spite of being born in a Pratiloma family, still he is not. That is the mood in which Balram is speaking. So, taking that into consideration. What?
Because when we say the Garbhadha Sanskar, so even Garbhadha Sanskar happens when the child born in any family, that means the boy is glorious because born. And if not follow Garbhadan also somebody is born, it means that the birth itself also matters.
So this was in Vedic times. In the Vedic times, and Prabhupada makes these points very clear in his lectures, Vedic times or any times. If there is no Garbhadan Sanskar, then Janma Jayate Shudra. So even in the Vedic times, if no Garbhadan Sanskar, then even though born in a Brahmana family, still a Shudra. But in the Vedic times, mostly they will follow the sanskaras. And because they would follow the sanskaras, mostly a child born in a Brahmana family would have Brahmana qualities, mostly. A child born in a Kshatriya family would mostly have the Kshatriya qualities because the sanskaras were performed. But if the sanskaras are not performed, then even though he is born in a Brahmana family, he is considered to be a Shudra.
And Guna and Karma, Lord is telling, then there the birth consideration is not there. Based on Guna and Karma, we should decide his Varna.
Yes. So the birth is one factor. The birth is one factor. That is not the end of it. So even though he is born in a Brahmana family, he may have Brahmana qualities, but still he has to get initiated by the bona fide spiritual master. Still he has to be trained. Then only he will get the guna and karma. He has some guna, agreed, but that is not complete. He has to be further trained. That is why, that is the example which Lord Krishna himself showed by going to the Gurukul and studying under Sandipani Muni. That is the example he showed. So even though, yes, he may be born in a Brahmana family, he may have some Brahmanical qualities, but still he has to accept spiritual master and be further trained to get the full manifestation of the Brahmanical qualities. Without that, it's not possible. The training is required under the spiritual master. Chicken. Okay, fine. We'll take a break. So when do we meet? Okay, 12:40 we'll meet. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hari Hari. May I ask something?
Please wait till the other devotees come. Okay, time is up. Okay, yes, Prabhu, what's your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Just this thing always question is there. Pure devotional service means Raganuga or Rupanuga. Pure devotional. So always this comes pure devotional service. So then basically always it is like, here also very clearly one being satisfied with pure devotional service. That's very clear. So that's the basis of this whole thing. If you boil down, even with association, that PhD person with association of Prabhupada also, he didn't get it. He ran away.
No, he didn't get association of Prabhupada.
Association means at least, yeah. So he didn't open up his heart to Prabhu. Yeah, yes, correct, Prabhu. But then he had the opportunity to associate with him and he didn't. Yeah, that's right. So he didn't associate. He was not fortunate associate. He just spoke with him. But then there's one thing is that association with a pure devotee, and then one being satisfied with pure devotional service. The route to, that has to be done. So sadhana bhakti leads to pure devotional service is also not justified. So what do we make of this? As you know, like just a very theoretical thing, Prabhu. This is not. We all know that we have to do sadhana bhakti. Someday the pure devotion will strike, and so can it be boiled down to
just one second.
Yes.
First of all, this point needs to be clarified that the sadhana bhakti is also part of pure devotional service only. It is not something else. The sadhana bhakti is also pure devotional service. Only difference is that we are trying to be pure devotees and then we'll eventually become pure devotees. But the sadhana practice is also part of pure devotional service. As Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, pure devotional service is at 3 stages. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti. So all are pure devotional service.
So that means boils down to actually practicing.
Yes.
Practicing, that's it. Not just reading. It has to be followed with practicing and fortunately with a pure devotee.
Yes, that's correct. Right. Okay. So, in the context of our discussion, Srila Prabhupada has written that beautiful statement in the purport to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 28. Famous statement. Study of the Vedas is not meant for 8th, 8th chapter, 28th verse. Some of these statements are worth memorizing actually. Study of the Vedas is not meant for simply for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. Got it? It's in the second paragraph of the purport, second or third paragraph. Go to the next. See this. Yes. So that is and before that Prabhupada is writing. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he may become a man of perfect character. So that is the purpose. The purpose of the study of the Vedas is the formation of character. It's not simply meant for recreation of armchair speculators, means just sitting around round table conferences and speculating with a cigarette in the mouth and drinking chai. So that type of useless conferences and speculations are all useless. So therefore, this is the goal of the study of the Vedas. Also, you may recollect that pastime, which again Radhanath Maharaj tells in a lecture about the one PhD lady who came to interview Srila Prabhupada, and she was asking various questions. She began with the question of how so many swamis and yogis are coming to the West. So what effect do you think this will have on Western culture? And Srila Prabhupada said, Western culture? What culture is that? And so Prabhupada was giving some funny answers. And after some time she said, so Swamiji, now let us discuss something about your philosophy. And Srila Prabhupada began by saying, philosophy without character has little or no value. So therefore, and again, we see in the Bhagavad Gita also, at the end of the section on Bhakti Yoga, in the 12th chapter, the last section, 13 to 20, what is Krishna speaking about? Yes. 12th chapter, 13 to 20. Yes, the qualities by which one can become dear to Krishna. So that is the prayojan. After speaking the entire Bhakti Yoga section, that is what is expected by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti means the contamination, the material contamination has to go off by the practice of Bhakti. When the material contamination goes off, then the natural good qualities of the soul will automatically be manifest. That has to be the result. If somebody is sincerely practicing Bhakti, that has to be the result. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada again has written in the purport to 13 chapter verses 8 to 12, which is again a list of various qualities, Samanitvam. So there also Srila Prabhupada writes, this is the barometer to check whether one is making progress, the development of these various qualities. So therefore, the development of character has been sufficiently stressed in all the scriptures, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, everywhere it has been stressed. We all know the famous pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami going by the hot sandy beach. And then when he reaches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is very pleased. And that time also Mahaprabhu, what does he tell? He tells this, yes, this is Bhushan. This is the decoration of a Vaishnav, is the following of the Vaishnav etiquette, Maryada Palan. So therefore, this is what is very much expected of somebody who's actually studying the scriptures. And again, Mahaprabhu's famous statement, Dharma sthapana hetu sadhura vyavahar. The principles of religion are established by the behavior of a sadhu. Because if the behavior is not there, then what is the use of studying the scriptures if the behavior is not there? There has to be some tangible result. Of course, it may take some time, that is understood, but at least one must be moving in that direction. Initially, then one has to practice the good qualities as a matter of austerity, and then by pleasing the Lord, then the good qualities will automatically develop. So now, since Balaram is talking about avinitasya, that means no humility. So what is the precise definition of humility as given by Srila Prabhupada? Yes. Yes. One should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. That is the most precise definition of humility. So, from the definition, it becomes very clear that humility is not simply something external. It's not simply something about the way one talks and the way one behaves. One may behave in a very, which is good, no doubt, but one may behave in a very soft-spoken and very gentlemanly way for the purpose of becoming famous as a gentlemanly person. Is that humility? No. So it's all based on the motive. What is the motive? So not to be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. So one may behave in a very nice way also for external reasons. So sometimes even amongst devotees, sometimes devotees say, "Arey, these karmis behave better than devotees." You heard some statement like that? So why do karmis sometimes appear to behave better?
Some of them at times are sometimes they are polite, and some can have their own business transactions as a consequence.
Yes. So many times they may behave well for some purposes. I don't know if I told you this incident in some class before, but so once on a flight from Mumbai to Calcutta, a person had a heart attack and he died on the flight. I told this before. So there was an emergency landing at Nagpur, and so obviously the man died. So police has to come and investigation and so many things, and nobody is allowed to go out of the plane. Everyone has to be seated inside. And so, the plane is quite a stuffy place. It's not that you can walk around this way, that way. There's not much to do. And so people were getting impatient. And it's not that like in Indian railways, there is a chai and vada pav and so many things coming. Nothing comes. So nobody is allowed to enter, nobody is allowed to go out. So people were getting impatient. But what to do? They have to tolerate. There's nothing else to do. But one lady, at a certain point, she lost her patience. And she started screaming. She started screaming, "What these airlines, useless people, we have paid so much amount to get there on time and so much of time is being wasted." This and that. She created a good scene. But what surprised me most was the response of the air hostesses. They were so calm and composed. Really, they like Sthita Prajna. Absolutely undisturbed. And they were somehow trying to pacify her. "What do you want, madams? Can we serve you some juice? What do you want?" It was so impressive. Now, I was thinking at that time, if I were in their place, I would have screamed. But such amazing behavior. So, I told this incident in another class. And in that class, there was one devotee who had training in hotel management and hospitality. So he told us in the class, that when he was going through the training, they were sometimes beaten and slapped, literally, physically, to test their tolerance. That was part of their training. So just see how much vigorous training people are ready to go through. So something to contemplate on.
Good training, no problem. It's a good training.
Yes, army also is very severe. Yes, army is also very severe. Prabhupada compares, yes, military training. So, why? So then when they're trained like that, then when they face the situation, they're able to remain calm. Even though inside they may be boiling, but externally calm sages. For what? Yes, the money, that's the motive which pushes them. So materialistic people may have or their different motives for their good behavior. But then as far as devotees are concerned, so we don't have any such material motive. So our motive is only to please Guru and Krishna. So the point is that, yes, so therefore it becomes essential that, so we were talking about motive. So the humility, so behaving in a very nice way is not simply to get a reputation of being well behaved. It's not simply for some reputation. It is for the purpose of pleasing Guru and Krishna. Then that is real humility. Not simply to get a reputation. So just like we know the famous pastime of the Amsterdam temple opening. You know the pastime of Amsterdam temple opening? So there were a lot of discrepancies in the requirements of the yajna and all that. And Srila Prabhupada was screaming and yelling at the temple president, even though there were TV reporters and newspaper reporters, everything being recorded. Why? Prabhupada didn't care for his reputation. He was more interested in training his disciples, instructing his disciples. He didn't care what the newspaper and TV people. Of course, we can't totally imitate these things. We definitely have to be conscious. But the point is that we are not simply interested in some reputation. So humility, so somebody may behave very nicely. Okay, I won't chastise anyone. I won't do anything. I'll speak very softly so that everyone knows that I'm such a wonderful, kind-hearted, soft-spoken devotee. So if one has some ulterior motive like that and is showing some external behavior, then that is also not counted as humility. The humility is, therefore, that definition which Srila Prabhupada is the most precise. I don't know whether you'll find it anywhere else, but that's the most precise definition of humility. Not to be anxious, to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Because that is from where the satisfaction comes. When others honor, satisfied. Not to be anxious to have that satisfaction. So, now, the opposite of humility is what? Arrogance or damba. Damba is a desire to make a big show. That is precisely what is damba. Damba. One wants to make a big show. That is the opposite of humility. So, and to put it more precisely, in humility, one does not have a desire for honor, and the opposite is to have a great desire for honor and reputation. That is pratishthasha. Pratishthasha. So we know these are weeds in our practice of devotional service, puja la pratishtha. And when there is pratisthasha, when there's a desire for pratishtha, another quality follows that. You know what? Yes, kapatya. Kapatya or crooked behavior follows pratisthasha. So I just thought of reading a few things on this subject matter of kapatya and pratisthasha. I don't know if you have it in your Veda base there. So this is from Gaur Govind Maharaj's book. Trinadapi Sunichena. That is the name of the book. Yes, it is there in this Veda base. What I have is this 2019 Veda base. So you open that? Yes, this is what publications? If you're having some difficulty, we'll connect it here. This is in books by ISKCON devotees. So there are books by Gaur Govind Maharaj. Down, right down, that is Gopalji publications. Gaur Govind Swami's books. You got the book? This is the 4th chapter on Kapatya.
Is it possible to ask question till that time online?
Okay, we'll just finish this discussion and take questions. So he's sharing this. Okay, go down now. So we won't read the whole thing. So there is one subtitle, Patitya and Kapatya. Little more down. Go down. Yes. Okay, this you can read.
Hare Krishna. So those who are speculators, crooked persons, kapati, they only speculate. They will not accept things as it is. They never accept the essence, sar. They accept vastu as avastu, and avastu as vastu, sat as asat, and asat as sat, real as unreal, and unreal as real. Therefore, sadhu, guru, mahajans have said that one who is very serious, very eager to achieve perfection in his human birth, which is Krishna Bhakti, to get Krishna, should be very simple. He should cultivate simplicity. आप उसको फुल स्क्रीन कर सकते हैं विदेश में ऊपर वाला स्क्रीन से हटा दो बड़ा हो जाएगा जस्ट डबल क्लिक ऑन दैट एनीवे बड़ा कर दीजिए व्यू ठीक है फाइन So those who are speculators, crooked persons, kapati, they only speculate. They will not accept things as it is. ये तो हो गया ना?
Therefore,
sadhu, guru, and mahajans have said that one who is very serious, very eager to achieve perfection in his human birth, which is Krishna Bhakti, to get Krishna, should be very simple. He should cultivate simplicity. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. Those who are real sadhus, Vaishnavas, are simple by nature. They are not crooked at all. This crookedness, kapatya, is a great hindrance on this path of perfection. This is a sort of disease, patitya and kapatya. One who is a crooked person, who has developed crookedness, even becomes envious towards the doctor who has come to cure him. He becomes envious of the doctor, so his disease is incurable.
Yes, so therefore he compares it to a person who's pretending to sleep. Somebody who is actually sleeping can be woken up, but somebody who's pretending to sleep, very difficult to wake him up. So similarly, somebody who's crooked person, then he's crooked, So he doesn't want to improve himself. Therefore, even when the doctor comes to treat him, he doesn't take the medicine. Why? Because he was envious even of the doctor. So then who can cure him? Nobody can cure him. Okay, continue.
Srila Jiva Goswami has written in his Bhakti Sandarbha about this Patitya and Kapatya. Jiva Goswami says that there are many persons Jiva Goswami says that there are many pretend themselves to be very devotional, but in their heart there is great crookedness. Outwardly they pay dandavats, like a rod they fall down from a long distance, but in their heart they are very crooked. They have no respect at all. They criticize the sadhus, acharyas, gurus, Vaishnavas, but outwardly they pay dandavats as if they are very humble and have a very devotional attitude. They act like this. They offer worship also, but in their heart there is great duplicity. Jiva Goswami has also said in his Bhakti Sandarbha that they cannot make any advancement on this path of perfection. Such persons take to karma, jnana, yoga, tapasya, tyaga, niti, morality. They speak about morality, renunciation, detachment. They speak about penance, jnana, yoga, all these things, and they practice externally something also. They post themselves as very moral persons, but their heart, they're very crooked. Such hardness is in their heart. Outwardly, they pay dandvat and offer worship to sadhu, guru. They're very keen to find faults of that sadhu, guru, Vaishnava.
Continue.
A great stumbling block. Jiva Goswami Prabhu has said, one who is really sleeping can be very easily awakened by sound vibration, but one who is pretending to be asleep cannot be woken up because he's pretending. He's such a crooked person. Therefore we say, Sadhu Guru Mahajan, Patita Pavan, Kapata Pavan Nai. They are deliverers of the distressed patitas, but they're not deliverers of these crooked persons. Kapata Pavan Nai. Those who leave such sadhu gurus and go anywhere else due to this crookedness cannot be delivered. They cannot achieve perfection in their life. Your feet are fixed here on this ground, and if by chance your feet slip, only this ground will give you shelter, nothing else. So if by chance you slip from the lotus feet of the guru, only that guru will give you shelter. No other Vaishnava sadhu will give you shelter.
Okay, just on this point, maybe I shared this before, I don't remember, but anyways. There was one devotee who was, so he's initiated, he just got recently initiated from one, and he is one from one of the prestigious IITs in India. And so obviously very brilliant person. And so somebody who is materially intelligent, then he is able to read a lot because of that capacity. So he read most of Srila Prabhupada's books. Of course, there's nothing like completing reading Prabhupada's books in the real sense of the term. But anyways, at least superficially he finished reading. And so he wanted to read many other esoteric books and so many other books. So the senior devotees told him, no, see, this is not the right time. You wait for some time, later you can read. But that boy was insisting, no, I want to read. I finished reading Prabhupada books. So, and in fact, when he was refused, he started doing anti-preaching in his college. It became a big issue, actually. And so then finally, the senior devotees told him, okay, you go and ask your Diksha Guru. You ask your Diksha Guru. If he gives permission, okay, fine. You know what he said? So he said, no, I will not ask. Why? Because I know my Diksha Guru will not give permission. Then if he knows that his Diksha Guru will not give permission, why did he accept Diksha Guru? Diksha Guru is meant for a show or for following? So that is what he's saying here. By chance you have slipped up from the lotus feet of this Guru, only that Guru will give you shelter. But one fails to take that shelter only, then where is the shelter? Who can save him? So that is the point he's saying. So why? This is called crooked behavior. He has accepted a guru, but he doesn't want to follow. Simply a show. This is crooked behavior. He wants to do things which he wants to do. And he doesn't even want to take permission because he knows he will not be given permission. Then what is the point? So where is the shelter for such persons then? Okay, please continue.
Those who are crooked persons who develop such crookedness in their heart, who pose themselves to be very humble, and the followers of, go down. I'm reading the next paragraph. Chalo niche. Of sadhu guru, leave such sadhu guru and go somewhere else to take shelter. But they should understand that no one can give them shelter, only that guru. That ground from which his foot has slipped up gives shelter. A bona fide guru should not be rejected.
And so nowadays, sometimes we find, so devotees who don't get favorable instructions from their own guru, even leave the guru and even go to some other organization and get initiated from some other guru. These things are happening these days. Such crazy things, they cannot understand the gravity of the offense. But they're doing that. This is the reason. Crooked behavior. They want guru only to give the stamp of sanction on whatever they want. I want this, I'll go and tell guru. Guru should say, Tatastu, full blessings. If the guru is not doing that, I reject the guru and go somewhere else. It's all crooked behavior.
If he leaves that guru, quits that guru, goes somewhere else to take shelter from another guru sadhu, he should understand that no one can give him shelter. Only from where his foot has slipped up can give him shelter. He has committed an offense, and his offense cannot be counteracted or destroyed unless he comes back and seeks shelter there. No one can give him shelter. Only that guru or Vaishnava can give him shelter. So it is said, if your foot has slipped up from the ground, no other place will give you shelter. So many times repeated. Maharaj is emphasizing.
Maharaj is hammering.
Only this ground will give you shelter from which your foot has slipped up. Jiva Goswami has quoted this in Bhakti Sandarbha. No one else can give you shelter. No one else can protect you. Only that Guru Sadhu will give you shelter and protect you. If you're really intelligent, really simple-hearted person, you can understand it, you will come back. If you are a crooked person, you cannot understand this thing, so you will go somewhere else to take shelter. But no one can give you shelter. Perhaps if someone gives you shelter, you may think that it is shelter, but that is not real shelter at all. You cannot make any advancement in this devotional path. You cannot achieve the perfection in this life. Rather, as a result of that great offense you have committed, you will fall down and go to hell. Definitely. Unless you come back, you must be entrapped by this crookedness. It is crookedness, kapatya, nothing else. Jiva Goswami Prabhu has discussed this in Bhakti Sandarbha, how this kapatya, crookedness, is a great stumbling block, a great hindrance in the path of devotional service.
I don't know, this another instance which took place a few years back. Maybe I mentioned, I don't remember. But there was one devotee who was sent to one area to preach. He was nicely preaching, cultivated nice congregation, 300 to 400 devotees. Some of them got initiated, and the preaching was really flourishing. And so when any preaching flourishes, then there's a need for new place, new temple. So this devotee approached his GBC spiritual master, and he placed his request. So the GBC spiritual master told him, see, there are also other projects coming up in this area. Please wait. After some time you can consider. But this devotee was getting impatient. And so he placed his request 3-4 times and he got the same answer. So then when he got the same answer, then the mind tricks. Then he started concocting, speculating, oh, these authorities in ISKCON, they're not allowing me to grow, they don't want me to get some recognition, this, that. He concocted his whole negative thinking. And he got so disgusted, he lost faith in his own spiritual master. And then when one is in that situation, how long he can stay? And then there are enough people waiting to take in such people. So in the meantime, he got attracted to some Radhakund Baba. Anyway. And then he told his followers also to come. But most of them, fortunately, were quite intelligent. Most of them didn't go. Maybe a few of them went. But in any case, it created a great disturbance in that whole preaching. So the point is, this is what he's writing here. So one has one's own agendas, and when the agendas are not fulfilled, one is even ready to give up one's bona fide spiritual master. And that is what he's saying. This is crookedness, kapatya, nothing else. The result will be you will fall down and go to hell. Definitely, he says. It is a fact. It is such a great offense to give up one's bona fide spiritual master. But these things are unfortunately happening. Now, what he is saying is not some fiction. These things are actually happening. Right in front of our eyes, we can see these things happening in our society. Why? Because this crookedness, one doesn't want to follow. One simply wants to have one's own agendas fulfilled. That's all. So therefore, he says it's a great stumbling block on the path of devotional service. So, and then he talks about this supplying milk to a snake. So therefore it is said, Sadhu, Guru, Vaishnava are Patit Pavan, not Kapat Pavan. No, I don't know. Just one second, we'll just finish this discussion. Then the question may be asked, but why is it that people take to this crookedness? Why are they not becoming simple? Why will you find this crookedness in a Vaishnava community? Therefore, Sadhu, Shastra, Mahajans and Acharyas say, to be a Vaishnava, you must give up your crookedness and become simple. So now, go on to the next subheading. So now he says, what is the cause of the kapatya is this. Name, fame, prestige. So this is the connection between kapatya and this pratisthasha. Okay, now you can read this.
Also in the Vaishnava community, you'll find that this crookedness, kapatya, is going on. No simplicity at all. It is politics, crookedness. They're after name, fame, and prestige. Only for that reason they cultivate this crookedness, kapatya. They pose themselves as Vaishnavas, but they're not real Vaishnavas. Vaishnavacharyas have said, Vaishnavera pratishtha, shukrera vishta. That is a stool of a hog, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Raghunadas Goswami have said this, and they never run after name, fame, prestige. One who is a real Vaishnava, he will never run after it. But all are running after this by cultivating crookedness. How can they get labha, puja, pratishtha, worship from others and occupy a superior position? They cannot understand that they have been infected by an incurable disease. They have given up Kanak and Kamini, gold and woman, but they have not given up this pratishtha, name and fame.
Continue.
And the Hari Bhakti Vilas Srila Sanatana Goswami said, one may give up Kanak and Kamini, gold and woman, but it is very difficult to give up this pratishtha. Sanatana Goswami says, Vaishnava pratishtha shukrera vishta. Pratishtha, it is a stool of a hog. He has given up everything, his family, his home, all his material relationships, given up money, given up his wife, woman, but he has not given up this pratishtha. This pratishtha, vishtha, the stool, the Mahajanans, Vaishnavacharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Raghunadas Goswami, Sanatana Goswami have said, it is the stool of the hog. Stool is an unnecessary thing, it should be rejected. Nobody accepts stool. It is a rejected stuff, very bad, impure. For those who are hogs and dogs, they accept this stool. They think this is very nice and is to be accepted. Those who are so-called renunciate have given up everything. They say, Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. This money, artha, is the cause of all anartha, so we have given it up. They say that they've given up everything, their wife, their son, their family related, but they have not given up this pride that I have given up everything. Such pride is there. In this world, you will find, beginning from a boy to an old man, they're all running up after this pratishtha. Name, fame, and prestige. Many examples are there because thereby you will achieve fame and that fame will be immortal. Though we die, still that fame will be there. Our names will be written in the history books. Therefore, you'll find that the students are laboring so hard how to come out successful in the examination. So a little fame will come. Those are expert swimmers. They're swimming the English Channel or Atlantic Ocean and think, I will swim. If I will drown, still my name will be recorded in history. They're so mad after this name and fame. Pratishtha. They're not even afraid of their death. Some are doing mountaineering, climbing to the highest peak of the Himalayas, Mount Everest. They may die by chance, but still they think, my name will be written in the history books as such a great mountaineer. This is Pratishtha. It is very difficult to give up.
Continue.
You will also find in this community of holy men, Sadhu Samaj, Sadhu community, that one poses oneself to be renunciate. He has only one kaupin, nothing else. Some only use the bark of the tree as clothing. Such great renunciates, he never stays in one place for more than one day. He moves about because I will develop some attachment to this place. Every day he goes out and gets some madhukari. He's wandering there in the jungle of Vrindavan and Brajabhumi, getting madhukari. Such a great renunciate, but has not given up this pride that I am a great renunciate. He never builds a cottage for himself. He stays anywhere under a tree. Outwardly, he has become very niskinchana or a kinchana, great renunciate. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami has said, one may give up Kanak and Kamani, one may give up everything, but it is very difficult to give up this Pratishtha, Bishtha. Only for this, a man becomes crooked, intolerant, and envious. In this material platform, it is quite natural that one becomes envious. Oh, he's making advancement. He's becoming more wealthy than me. He's occupying a greater position than me. So man becomes envious, and a plan is made to pull him down in the political field. Political enviousness is there. Political murder is there. This is enviousness. It is all crookedness. You'll find in the Sadhu Samaj also that if someone is making some nice advancement on the spiritual path, then one who is a real sadhu will say, yes, yes, he's making some nice advancement. Or one who is not a real sadhu, who is a crooked person, just posing himself as Vaishnava sadhu, cannot tolerate it. He becomes intolerable when he hears this, as if a sharp arrow has pierced into his heart when he hears that. Oh, such and such is making advancement. It is very difficult to hear and tolerate it. It is intolerable, but this is not at all appreciated. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Nirmasaranam satam vedyam dharma projita ketavatra parmo nirmasaranam satam vedyam vasavatra vastu shivatam tapatrayana moolanam. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable of those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. That Vaishnava, Bhakta, who is not envious, can understand this Bhagavad Tattva. One who is envious, though he has come to the society of Vaishnavas and follows the path of the Vaishnavas, cannot understand this Tattva. Paramo nirmasaranam satam vidyam, cannot make any advancement on the spiritual path. If a real sadhu and Vaishnava sees or hears that such and such bhakta devotee is making advancement, then he becomes joyful. Yes, yes, he's making advancement. He becomes joyful. But if instead of becoming joyful, becomes envious and becomes very intolerable on his part to hear such things, this is kapatya, crookedness.
Yeah, so therefore he says, kapatya is the paramour of pratishtha. So when one has a desire for pratishtha, then one has to do some crooked things to get the pratishtha. So therefore they go together. What is the solution? He quotes this verse from Manashiksha by Raghunath Das Goswami. Pratishtha sha drishta shwapacha ramani me ridi natet katam sadhu prema sprishati shuchi retan nano manaha sada tvam sevasva prabodayita samantam matulam yatha tam nishkasya tvaritam ihatam veshayati saha. So he's comparing this Pratishnasha to what? Shwapacha Ramani, shameless dog-eating outcast woman. So they really give very terrible examples. One is Shukrera Vishta, and then this Shwapacha Ramani is audaciously dancing. What is the solution? Always remember and serve the immeasurably powerful commanders of the army of Sri Krishna, the beloved devotees of the Lord. They will at once banish this outcast woman and initiate the flow of immaculate Vraja Prema in your heart. That is the solution. So that is how one can give up this So if you run after this Pratishta, this Vishta, the stool of a hog, and a shameless Chandalini, as long as this shameless Chandalini is dancing in your heart, you cannot tread this path of devotional service at all. This Kapatya is the paramour of Pratishta. As long as this desire for Pratishta is there in your heart, you cannot give up Kapatya, because Kapatya is its paramour, that is said. You cannot be freed from this Kapatya at all as long as this Pratishta is there. Pratishta is a shameless Chandalini. Okay, fine. So the solution is unconditional surrender, simple heart. So this is how to develop humility. So, and give up this kapatya by simply serving the great souls, serving the acharyas. Okay, somebody had some questions. Yes, Chetan Chandrapru, and then somebody online also had some.
Right. We are discussing about that crookedness. Somebody gives up the association of spiritual master, Diksha Guru. So, Miss, one case I have seen, like you're telling some case, that dude was from Pune only, but he was given some
No,
instruction.
I didn't give any example from anybody from Pune.
No, I'm giving.
Okay.
So that devotee was told by his spiritual master to preach in such a area where he went, that was so extremely so difficult that even some people came to beat him and like so empty. So then he requested to his spiritual master that I am not able to do my bhakti there, sadhana there, it's difficult. But his spiritual master told you have to preach in this area only. So he was so frustrated by that then he left actually. So in that case, like here Maharaj is saying that only he can give shelter. He cannot go anywhere. Your spiritual master can give shelter. So now for him, what is the solution?
So see, surely the solution is not to give up. That is surely not the solution. One can find out some other solution, one can consult some other senior Vaishnavas, one can go to his authorities, something has to be done. But giving up the bona fide spiritual master is surely not the solution. That is not the solution. So the fact is, he has accepted that spiritual master, he has taken Diksha from him, he cannot give him up. Unless he receives sanction from other senior Vaishnavas, then he can go to senior Vaishnavas, complain, and then maybe other senior Vaishnavas can talk to his spiritual master, whatever, something has to be done. But just giving up the spiritual master is never the solution. That is never the solution. Whatever may be the instruction, disciple will be ready to die. He said, let me die, but I will not give up. This is what is meant by disciple. And by doing so, he will get great destination. Even if he dies, he will get a great destination. But by giving up, he goes to hell. This is Shastra. One cannot play around with these things. This is a serious matter. Accepting bona fide spiritual master, serious matter. It is not sabji mandi.
Even if his spiritual life is also at stake, so he still follows the instruction.
Has to. But again, it's not blind following. He can consult other senior Vaishnavas, approach higher authorities. All those options are there, especially in our society. So many options are there. So all that can be done. So it's not blind following. So he can do all that. But he can't give up.
Suppose he does that, goes to the seniors and other GBC and approaches, they tell the problem. And then they also say that, okay, you follow your spiritual master. So now he has to follow anyways.
Yes.
And in such a circumstances, he, as you said, he may die also.
Yes.
So he should just follow.
Yes.
Whatever is told.
Yes.
Whatever happens.
Yes.
Like,
if that is what other senior Vaishnavas are also saying, if that is what other senior Vaishnavas, higher authorities are saying, it is better to follow. It is better to follow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad.
Just one second. Just one second. Okay, so this is Shastra. We are not saying something whimsically. This is what Shastra says. One cannot reject one's bona fide spiritual master whimsically at all, in any situation. And at least we can say with faith on the basis of Shastra that if a devotee sincerely follows like that, Krishna will help. Will not Krishna help a sincere devotee? Krishna can change the mind of the spiritual master. Krishna can change circumstances. So many things Krishna can arrange. The only thing that's required is faith. If there is faith in the words of the Shastra and faith in the words of Krishna, the miracles will take place. The South Indian Brahman at Srirangam, who was told to read Bhagavad Gita every day, illiterate person. Now all the other Pandits over there are making fun of him, correct? Now he could have said, hey, what instruction my spiritual master gave? I'm an illiterate person, he's telling me to read Bhagavad Gita, everyone is making fun. No, I won't read Bhagavad Gita, forget it. He could have done that, no? Even though they were making fun of him, he continued. And you see the result of that. The result was the Supreme Lord came. That is the result. This is the meaning of faith. This is the meaning of faith. The faith will be tested, no doubt. The faith will be tested. But when one follows, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyeta katita yat prakashante mahat. Then everything is good. So, who does not have challenges in the practice of his devotional service? I think the Sachidananda Bhavan, you came to the bathroom right now, right? You were playing he was playing a recording of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and I just happened to hear a few words. And Maharaj is saying, who has been tortured like Prahlad Maharaj? Has anyone been tortured like him? But he never gave up. What were the difficulties Srila Prabhupada went through as he was trying to establish ISKCON? In the Sunday class, we were talking a few things, hardly anything we spoke. But then we can't even imagine what Srila Prabhupada went through to establish ISKCON. But he went. And Srila Prabhupada is written. I've quoted this many times. March 6th, 1966, if you want, you can see. In Srila Prabhupada's diary, March 6, 1966. Srila Prabhupada has written, I'm paraphrasing. Srila Prabhupada has written, today is the Adivas of Gaur Purnima. It was the day before Gaur Purnima, March 6, 1966. And he says, all my friends and God brothers are happily celebrating Gaur Purnima in Vrindavan and Mayapur. But I am alone here in New York. But then he says, I don't mind this inconvenience because I am simply trying to follow the instruction of my Guru Maharaj and Krishna. And for doing this, I am even ready to go to hell. Prabhupada is writing. Even ready to go to. Actually, he was already living in a hellish condition, actually. It was no better than hell. It was already like hell only then. But Srila Prabhupada was ready to go through that just to follow the instruction of his spiritual master. And that is what Vishwachak Thakur has written in the commentary to Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. The instruction of the spiritual master is life and soul. Whether sansar may exist, may not exist, that means I'm liberated, not liberated, whatever be the condition, I cannot give up the instruction of the spiritual master. That is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. That is why it is a very serious business to accept a spiritual master. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada would often say, it's not simply a matter of fashion to accept a spiritual master. One has to be ready to follow. Even though instruction may be very difficult, still one must be ready to follow. So, of course, all that trying to discuss and see whether it's bona fide. So, all that is allowed. Discussion, suggestion, all that is allowed. But finally, whatever is told, one has to follow. Before accepting, everything should be considered. You know, whether to accept this person as spiritual master or not, everything is possible before. But once one has accepted, then there is no choice. Then there is no choice. Then one has to follow. But from all the examples of the Shastras, one thing is certain. If one follows, the result will be glorious. That is certain. That is what Shastra is saying. All right, no? Yes.
Question ki, what is the meaning of giving up the spiritual master? This first question. And as you said, there are no example in the Shastra, but there are some example of rejecting the Guru also. And in ISKCON history, there are ample, not one, many. If the Guru and has the Guru's definition has to be also clear. People has to be told what are the roles of the Guru, how much Guru can enter in the life of the disciple, and what is his responsibility. If the Guru is not taking responsibility with the question of following the Guru, and if the Guru's instruction are conflict with the founder Acharya's instruction, because in ISKCON scenario it is different. Guru is not running his own organization. He is running on the behalf of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And if any Guru's instructions are conflicting with Prabhupada's instruction, then what should be the role?
Then if one finds that Guru's instructions, one's own Diksha Guru's instructions are conflicting with the founder Acharya's instructions, one has every right to approach higher authorities and complain to them. That one can do. But one cannot whimsically give up.
Here, giving up means what? That's what I'm
Giving
asking.
up means not following the instructions.
Giving up, chanting Hare Krishna.
No, wait.
Following four principles.
Wait. See, giving up can be at different levels. One level of
going to Radha Kund, that is living up ISKCON only, na? That is Prabhupada only.
Yes.
We are not talking about giving up Prabhupada.
No, we are talking about that. The examples that I gave are talking about.
So that should be always talking about the founder Acharya, because when you talk about Guru, it becomes very specific, because there are so many examples of ISKCON Guru only living.
See,
so then
please wait. Your understanding is not correct. I'm sorry to say. As long as a Diksha Guru or a Shiksha Guru is in good standing, he is accepted by the authority of ISKCON, he is accepted by the Vaishnava community, then as a follower, as a disciple, I have to follow. This is the standard. I cannot have my own opinions. If I have an opinion, I need to confirm it with other authorities. This is the etiquette. There are etiquettes to be followed. I cannot just whimsically say, oh, this Guru is not following the founder Acharya's instructions, so I give up, or I don't have faith. I cannot say these things whimsically. If I find that some Guru is not following, then I need to confirm how much perfect am I to pass a judgment on another senior Vaishnava. What is my adhikar? First of all, I have to consider this point. I myself am a fallen person. What is my adhikar to pass a comment on a senior Vaishnava who has spent many years in the movement? I can't just loosely pass a comment like that. So if I find some discrepancy, with a proper humble mood, I need to confirm, I need to clarify, I need to consult other Vaishnavas and act accordingly.
Correct. I am not talking about giving up means like going to Radha Kund, that of course. But as you said, that clarification can be done, and not following the Guru means he's not following any principle, he's not speaking properly, he's not.
See, if somebody is not following principles, somebody is not serving ISKCON properly, how do you think ISKCON authorities will allow him to function as a Guru?
No, I'm not talking about Guru, the disciple I'm talking. Not, if the society has not rejected the Guru, there is no question only.
Correct.
Because as long as the GBC says his authority, we have to follow.
Correct.
But that in that IDC course, there is that sometimes one may lose the faith also. So still he has not, like, one should not cross the etiquette. What you are saying, that the etiquette should not be, because it is all internal thing.
Yes.
How much, like people say some has 90% faith in Prabhupada's instruction, he's continue and he's doing his routine work, and somebody may derive, like Radheshyam says, 90% faith from the Guru's lecture, and somebody may derive 19% from Prabhupada's lectures also. But it is all within the etiquette.
Yes, the
this
etiquette
is not like rejecting the Guru, I'm asking. No?
Yes. See, the etiquette needs to be followed. That means what? See, you're talking about inspiration. Okay. Inspiration can be derived from different sources, and how much inspiration one derives from whom, that is left up to the individual. But when I accept a certain personality as a Diksha Guru, and that Diksha Guru tomorrow gives me an instruction, I need to follow it. whether I like it or not. I can discuss, I can suggest, I can do all those things. At the end of the day, I need to follow. Because I have accepted this person as Diksha Guru, I need to follow. That is the etiquette. That is the point we're trying to. Otherwise, it will fall within this kapatya and. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, online.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, actually, I wanted to know that being a senior authority, if someone comes and asks you that I have got the answer from a spiritual master regarding such and such a case, but if person is not satisfied and going behind in the devotional life, so what should be our attitude regarding such things? वो फॉलो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो अभी हमें देख के अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. What should be our attitude towards such person?
So you're asking about some other devotee who is not able to follow the instructions of his spiritual master.
So what should be our attitude regarding such cases? Like to uplift them in their spiritual path. What should be our attitude?
Yes, so we can try to help in whatever way it is possible. In whatever way possible, we can try to help such a devotee to re-establish faith in his spiritual master, in ISKCON. And so we can try to help to whatever extent it's possible.
Nothing is working, Prabhuji. So what can be done in such a way?
Then we can pray. If nothing is working, all we can do is pray. What else?
Because the very words of the spiritual masters are not satisfying the person concerned. So how can we rectify the things?
Yes, so then he can consult other Vaishnavas and see how the faith can be re-established. He should consult some other senior Vaishnavas.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Any other question?
Yes, Prabhuji, myself also. Prabhuji, regarding the example that His Grace Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu gave, that where the disciple was having so much difficulty and all. So we have His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj himself. He was sent to a barren land in Bhubaneswar, and how just by following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. But I feel that in our case, for example, if a spiritual master gives me some instruction, I might not be having so much faith, but just just obeying the instruction of the spiritual master and just saying that, okay, this is the instruction. If my spiritual master says I have to go to hell, let me go to hell also, and I'll follow his instructions. So I think that how can we have that great thing, when हमारे लिए पत्थर की लकीर होना चाहिए गुरु का instructions. If you can help me.
Yes, so therefore the question is faith, and how faith is created. There's only one word. What is that?
Submission?
No. In the morning only we heard. How faith is created?
Eagerness?
How to get Laulia? Association. There's only one. Yes, there's only one solution: association. To the degree one has association with one who has faith, the faith will develop. Prabhupada has written this point very clearly in the purport to Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 3rd verse.
Okay, so one more thing, Prabhuji, because now see, we don't have a living guru right now, but we have his instructions.
Yes.
We have his mood and mission also. Here we have his Vani association also.
Yes.
Now, many times we might not get very specific instructions from our spiritual master, but we can get those same instructions from the representatives of the spiritual master, like our temple president or vice president or other devotees also.
Yes.
Now, how do we consider those instructions also as good as my spiritual master's instructions?
That's called parampara.
Okay.
Everything is in line.
Okay, in parampara.
As long as we see everything in line, then there is no problem. The problem comes when we don't see the connection.
Yes.
So when we see the connection that everything is in line, then we can have the same faith. Then there's no problem.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think so one last question we can.
my question is that actually Kali Yuga, this envy, Pratisthasha, it's all pervading. And it's not a button, just to give up. At least I can tell there is ocean is there after 15 years. So you have to work upon it. So
Correct.
my question is that we have seen, like he gave one example, I don't know whom, but I have one example of my own friend from our batch. He's very sincere, dedicated, but then he left. So what is the role of the Vaishnava community in actually helping such person? And how do we inculcate this seriousness of initiation? Many times that we want people to get, let us have more devotees to get initiated. But we see that His Holiness Radhan Maharaj or others, they were so serious. They were not wanting to get initiated because I can't give up myself fully, so I'll wait. So, whereas sometimes we see that, let us not take him also, he will improve, let it get initiated. So we see that also. So how do we?
Yes, so therefore, there is no
clear about
problem. There is no problem in getting initiated with some amount of basic faith. But then at the same time, the proper training needs to be given. So it's an ongoing training that is required. So somebody gets initiated, then it's sometimes there's a problem at both levels. So the senior devotee who gets him initiated feels that khatam ho gaya abhi. Zimmedari khatam. He's got initiated, my responsibility for him is over. And the person who's following, he also thinks my business is also over. I've got initiated, now I can relax. So both are at fault. So the senior devotee who is training him, he also should understand that this is only beginning. Now the training has to continue. The training has to continue. So when he's in proper training, he gets the proper understanding, then he will grow. He will grow from that point. So then there's no problem. So the most important thing is the training education has to continue. And then the devotees have to know more and more deeply about the responsibility towards the spiritual master, following his instructions, how to follow, what are the challenges. All this training is required. And it has to be an ongoing training. It doesn't stop at any point of time. It has to go on and on and on, as long as the material body is there. Okay? Yes, the role of other Vaishnavas.
They are fried out actually.
Yes, the role of other Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava community, is to help, to give the inspiration, to give the solutions to the various challenges, problems. So they're meant to be there for that purpose. Okay, fine. So we will end this discussion now. We were basically discussing Balram's words, and that is Adantasya avinitasya vritha panditamanina na gunaya bhavanti sma natasyeva jidatmanaha. That is what we were discussing. And so Balaram is Adi Guru. Okay, so he's Adi Guru and he's making some very important points for all disciples of all gurus as to what is meant by dharma. He's establishing dharma. That's what he's saying. I've come to establish dharma. I'm dharma palaka. So therefore, he's making a very strong point as to what is meant by dharma and how somebody who's following dharma, what are his roles and responsibilities. Lord Balram is making a very serious point for all of us to think about. And that is why we went into such a detailed discussion on that point. Okay, so now Romarshan is killed, and we will just go through the final few verses of the chapter. Okay, so we are on text 29. Okay, so somebody can read the translations now.
All the sages cried out, "Alas, alas," in great distress. They told Lord Sankarshan, "O masters, you have committed an irreligious act."
Next.
"O favorite of the Yadus, we have given him the seat of the spiritual master and promised him long life and freedom from physical pain for as long as this sacrifice continues. You have unknowingly killed a Brahman."
No, you can read that short purport.
Although Romharshan was not a Brahman,
having been born of a mixed marriage, he was invested with that status by the assembled sages and thus given the Brahmasan, the seat of the chief officiating priest.
So he was given that status by the sages and the Brahmanas. Okay, next.
Text 33. You have
31 to 32. No?
Okay, that whole thing I'm reading. You have that one. You have unknowingly killed a Brahman. Of course, even the injunctions of revealed scriptures cannot dictate to you, the Lord of all mystic power. But if by your own free will you nonetheless carry out the prescribed purification for this slaying of a Brahmana? O purifier of the world, people in general will greatly benefit by your example.
Yes, so Lord doesn't have to get purified. He is already pure. But they're saying, you please go through some purification only for one reason. What is that? Loka Sangraha, for the benefit of the people, for setting an example for the people. So that is the only purpose. Otherwise, Lord Balaram doesn't have to get purified. Okay, now the Lord is replying to that.
The personality of Godhead said, I will certainly perform the atonement for this killing, since I wish to show compassion to the people in general. Please, therefore, prescribe for me whatever ritual is to be done first.
So you can see how Balaram is so obedient to the Brahmanas. He is ready to do whatever they say.
O sages, just say the word, and by my mystic power, I shall restore everything you promised him. Long life, strength, and sensory power.
So Balaram is ready to bring him back to life also.
The sages said, please see to it, O Rama, that your power and that of your Kusha weapon, as well as our promise and Romharshana's death, all remain intact.
So they want everything to remain intact. But they know Balaram can do it also.
The Supreme Lord said.
Okay, let's recite. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Atma Vai Putra Utpanna Iti Vedanushasanam Tasmadasya Bhavet Bhakta Ayur Indriya Sattvavan.
The Supreme Lord said, the Vedas instructs us that one's own self takes birth again as one's son. Thus let Romharshan's son become the speaker of the Puranas, and let him be endowed with long life, strong senses, and stamina.
Purport.
Srila Sridhar Swami quotes the following Vedic verse to illustrate the principle enunciated here by Lord Balaram. Angad angat samabhavasi ridyat adhijayase atma vaiputra namasi sanjiva saradha shatam. You have taken birth from my various limbs and have arisen from my very heart. You are my own self in the form of my son. May you live through 100 autumns. This verse appears in Shatapala Brahmana and the Brihad Aranyak Upanishad.
Next.
We just read text number 37, right?
37.
37, okay. Please tell me your desire, O best of sages, and I shall certainly fulfill it. And O wise souls, please carefully determine my proper atonement, since I do not know what it might be. Lord Balaram here sets a perfect example for people in general by humbly submitting himself before the qualified Brahmanas. Sages reply. The sages said, a fearsome demon named Balaval, the son of Ilaval, comes here every new moon day and contaminates our sacrifice. First, the sages tell Lord Balaram the favor they would like him to do for them. O descendant of the Shahara, please kill that sinful demon who pours down pus, blood, feces, urine, wine, and meat upon us. This is the best service you can do for us. Thereafter, for 12 months, you should circumambulate the land of Bharat in a mood of serious meditation, executing austerities, and bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites. In this way, you will become purified. Srila Jiva Goswami points out that the word Vishuddhasi means that the Lord Balaram would achieve spotless fame by setting such a perfect example for the people in general. Srila Prabhupada writes, the Brahmanas could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial to them. Thus end the purpose of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 78th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of Dantavakra, Viduratha and Romaharshan.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So we'll continue our discussions tomorrow.
In the last verse, Prabhupada writes, the Brahmanas could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial to them. Is it Prabhupada saying that this is what the Lord Balaram wanted? To go on a pilgrimage? It's like that? So, I mean, interesting way how the Lord functions, but just unnecessarily making complicated for a common man to understand. Lord, why to ask a question? How can I atone? You did the business, move forward. Yeah. Respected. Even
Mike.
Even I'm following it that way.
So of course, the sages, they simply acted according to Balram's instruction on Balram's desire only, but still Lord Balram wanted to set that example how the Brahmanas need to be respected, how their instructions need to be followed.
In one way, it's a very beautiful contrast. I mean, if not at the level of a devotee, if we just see as a storyline, just a moment ago, he got so upset at a Brahmana, he killed a Brahmana. And a contrast here is, now he's saying, Brahmanas, tell me, what can I do for you?
Yes.
Which shows there is a deeper meaning to it, as you brought out through the discussion today, that why Balramji was so upset.
Correct.
Because of kapat.
Correct.
Otherwise, he wouldn't. Because when I read this story for the first time, long ago, I really had to scratch my head. I said, why Balramji became so violent? What are the need for it?
Yes.
You chastise him, but you kill him. I couldn't really make sense of it.
Right.
But eventually, slowly you understood. But yeah.
Yeah. So the main thing, what Balram was, the main reason is the kapatya. That is the reason why he punished him so severely. Yes, that is true.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, of course, he got liberated. That's true. Hare Krishna. No, it said no, same thing. He also entered body of the Lord.